Well, today Josh and I are down here at the Wright Ranch and we're looking at these cattle here, which are all first calf heifers. Most of the cattle in this pen are Sitz Angus heifers, so they're purebred Angus heifers, and we purchased them on December 1st. So there's about 146 in this pen. 90 of them are those Sitz heifers that we bought. The other 56 are the ones that we raised here on the ranch. What we kind of pride ourselves on here and with the genetics we're buying through Sitz is that through EPDs and other genetic trackers, we can expect to know what the calf size is going to be. We know that these calves are going to be born small and vigorous, and all things about them based on the genetics that we've researched and done on them. We know all of the traits. We know the birth weight, we know what they're going to grow into, we know tremendous amount. I mean, I think there's 16 different traits that we monitor on the EPDs on these, and that's kind of what we're purchasing. We always talk about phenotype and genotype. The phenotype is what they look like. We can walk up to these and say, yeah, we like what they look like. They got a good set of feet and legs. They got deep bodied. They're, you know, everything that we were wanting to have in a mother cow. Also disposition. You notice all these aren't running the back fence or anything. We buy cattle based on disposition and how mellow they are, how easy they are to handle, you know, how acclimated they are to people. And so there's genetic traits and markers even for that we select in these cattle. So phenotype is what they look like. Genotype is all of the genetic markers that we can look at to know what we're going to get genetically out of these cattle. And so there's other things we can select in these cattle that have to do with amount of their energy that they're putting into their own growth and their body size, the amount of energy they're putting into milk and raising the calf. It lets us know kind of what to expect as far as meat quality, marbling, size of the ribeye, intermuscular fat, how big they're going to be when they're done growing, how many pounds per day they're going to gain. We can track all of that. The Sitz Ranch that we bought these cattle from has always been really consistent in all of those traits that we're looking for. And so they have a really good reputation across the country for that way. And so then their sales generally represent that. I mean, the buyers or the consumers in their case are other ranchers. Other ranchers are coming there to buy bulls and female cattle from them to improve their own genetics. In Nevada, a lot of people have lesser quality cattle than these. A lot of people believe that you can't bring a Montana cow to Nevada and that she will do just as well. And there's something to be said for that, but on the other side of that, we kind of believe that we can select the genetics and the efficiencies in those cattle to find the right ones that do well in Nevada. We mentioned earlier that these cattle came from Sitz. In the beef industry, there is different segments of the industry, okay? So there's cow-calf operators that we call commercial cow-calf guys. That means they're just raising calves and selling them into the meat market. And then we have seed stock operators. And seed stock operators basically is kind of what it sounds like, that it's genetics. With the certain operations, and mostly purebred operations, you're buying that genetics that we talked about a little while ago. If we put these on Superior Livestock Auction and sell these calves, we put right on the bottom Sitz Angus or whatever our genetic package is. And then people in the industry know that and recognize it and want to spend more money for it because it's not an off brand. It's a name brand that they know and recognize. That's our goal, is to take the known genetics, continue to add value to them in our regional area, and market them in such a way that the consumer is happy and getting the most value out of our product. That's why we're willing to invest in this. It's not that we're just going to sell steers into the meat market out of these heifers. We'll be actually raising bull calves out of them and other females that will replace other cattle in our herd as the other ones get older. The calves that they're going to have right now are going to be purebred Angus, but in the future we'll be able to choose between whether we want to cross them back on a Hereford bull to create those F1 females or breed them back to Angus bulls. When you start into this business, the seed stock business, instead of treating these like a whole herd of cows as one unit, pretty much then we start tracking them as individual animals. So we know the mother of each calf. And then as those calves grow up and are weaned and go into feedlot programs and become mature animals, we start this pedigree program where we know their genetics. And then as we tag all the calves and weigh all the calves that they have, we continue that family line out more generations. And if some of these individuals are excelling to exceed our expectations or really doing a great job above the average of the herd, then we're going to take that genetics and promote that genetics more, where we can take embryos out of these and plant in other recipients and take those genetics that are really working and expand it more. And so again, purebred business is kind of really labor intensive and record keeping intensive that way, because instead of just having a weaning weight for the whole group and counting it good, you got to really track the individual animals so you know kind of what you're producing and where you're excelling and where you're not, and what each individual animal is doing. So.